Yo, what is going on, my fellow weebs? Chrono here, and welcome back to the channel. So, another headline has passed, meaning I have another headline review video for you guys today. But if you're new here, as always, I'm Chrono. I primarily cover PSO2 content. Would much appreciate a subscribe as we're going towards that 10K mark, hopefully by the end of this actual marathon. We're doing a marathon stream right now, by the way, on Twitch. This is being recorded live. We will be live when this goes live, but we'll likely be live for quite some time, and we're going to be shooting for some pretty crazy marks, and it's going to push the stream timer pretty high. If you haven't noticed, the timer currently is at 179 hours. It started at 150, and then chat smashed a goal and they increased the timer already. It's been kind of ridiculous, so pretty fun. Goals are going up pretty dramatically, so if you guys want to be part of that, essentially anything you can do to support the channel, whether it be sub over on Twitch, whether it be follow over on Twitch, whether it be sub over on YouTube, or join the members on YouTube, all of that does affect the timer, meaning that even if you're not watching the stream and you decide to be a member on YouTube because you saw this video, that is also going to affect the timer in real time. So just keep that in mind. I will be adding those manually. However, that being said, we have more to accomplish here. So this headline was extraordinarily surprising. I went into the headline, I'll be honest, with a 5 out of 10 mindset. I'm pretty sure this is going to be a mid. I literally have a copium tank on my face because I was like, this isn't going to be a great headline. People are going to be upset about this headline. There's nothing really that's going to be announced that's interesting or new or anything along those lines. And SEGA said, hey, Keck W, you thought. So we're going to review the headline and talk about everything that they talked about in the headline itself. And yeah, that's basically it. This has been a crazy headline, dude, like an absolutely insane headline. I'm gonna refresh this really quick here. Hopefully this is a W headline, dude. Like this is a really, really good headline. All right, hold on a sec. All right, I think I fixed it. YouTube like died there for a second. That's weird. All right, so the headline, we didn't expect a whole lot. So we're gonna start off with the first section. First thing they talked about was the Frame Arms collab. So Frame Arms Girl and Frame Arms coming back. Essentially we have a nice new cast outfit. This is actually a pretty dope looking cast outfit. I did like that a lot. I'm glad they didn't just regulate this to being, you know, just mags or something like that. They have mags, it looks like they have Frame Arms Girls mags, as well as like mags themselves. I'm kind of in the way of a little bit of it. Let me kind of get out of the way for you guys. Hang on a second. Just for the sake of this, I'm going to push you guys over top of me. I'm going to put it back later, but just for the sake of this. Here we go. Hydra didn't deserve this. We'll talk about it, but it did deserve it. So we have the Frame Arms collab. This has a really cool, what's it called? A new emote, Flying Base 5. The Flying Base emotes are actually really, really cool. So I'm glad to see that they're actually adding more to the Flying Base emotes. It's really funny how this little key thing here, I'm sure this is something that's specific to Frame Arms Girls. I haven't seen it, so I can't tell you about it, but it looks like a Keyblade, and you could definitely hold it like a Keyblade if the key part was a little bit bigger. But of course you don't want to do that, because then of course, you know, the Disney villains are on their way. But pretty cool, pretty dope. It's an AC scratch, so it is what it is. We also have a rewind collection. Someone called rewind happening. Actually, the first draw is also free on this, which is pretty cool. The first draw is free on the rewind. It is an AC scratch. You will be able to sell that item, so you can get very lucky or you can get very unlucky. Hopefully, you get lucky, you get something that's worth something. You get unlucky, I'm sorry. The interesting thing here is, do you see this right here? Concert Master's in here. Regular Concert Master, not the green one, but the regular Concert Master's in here. Pretty crazy. Then they start announcing LTQs, and this is where honestly I was like, okay, no one's really going to care about LTQs. They're kind of whatever, not a big deal, right? Sports up to 12 players. They mentioned that it's going to be cross ships. That's pretty cool. We're in a situation now where the LTQ, realistically speaking, is more of like a vehicle to deliver materials to players. So as long as the drops are like semi-okay or semi-useful for people who are trying to catch up or gear up or get set up and all that good stuff, then, you know, it's good, right? These are going to be a vehicle likely to give us something that I didn't realize they were going to release so soon. I was not ready for. Oh, of course. Also, they included, of course, there's actual outfits from limited tasks. Or sorry, they're quest eligible for getting the get outfits limited task. But this is worded so weird. So this quest is eligible for the get outfits limited time quest triple campaign. There's a campaign where you can get extra outfits and things like that, and this quest is eligible for it. So there will be some limited tasks where you can get some interesting outfits, I guess, for free. So that's pretty cool. And then doing these will help you get those. Also avatar items, so accessories. I was off about the choice of which one they were going for. I thought we already had this. I guess we just didn't, or maybe they're just bringing it up to higher level. I'm not 100% sure. I guess they did recently do Omen not too long ago, so yeah, it's possible. But we have Omen Planet Breaker D2. So it's an 8-man version of Omen Planet Breaker. but it's just going to be a harder variant of it. It's going to be the urgent quest, so limited urgent for Omen. And this I was not expecting to see so soon. We're upgrading our Duocilios and Duotassus into Tricilios and Tritassus armor and Tritassus armor. That is wild. And if you notice, the change is the weapon change I'm noticing is very interesting, right? Like they're changing the colors here and here, right? The red. But if you look at the armor, the part that's changing on the armor is just the middle portion, right? Like if you have the Duotassus armor with the regular one, it's orange. So I wonder if mine's going to be like blue on the outside with like this red upgrade itself. So I'm pretty sure this is going to upgrade the same. They mentioned it's going to have more HP, even more HP and more PP, which is kind of funny that that's the route they're going in this situation, but also have more base damage. I believe there's also getting more damage as well. We'll have to see how that goes. Definitely going to be more defense. We can see here just off of the rip. We know this is higher defense than what we have currently. We can see more base power here as well. They did mention also stronger potential with more effects. So we'll have to see how that works out. I'm also pretty sure that this is still going to keep the weapons mostly in the place where they were beforehand, where now this is going to be a little bit stronger, but you still will be able to get away with using like a wing guard as like a photon blast stick. We'll have to go into that. We'll go into that more in depth, of course, whenever we get to that portion of our videos. We'll probably be covering that when it comes out. And of course, we'll do our usual comparisons, so on and so forth. So look forward to that. Those of you guys who are like, you know, I only want to have one weapon, you are now in even better shape overall. So that's pretty cool. As is always, as I've mentioned about 1 billion times, over and over and over and over again, whenever a new weapon, whenever a new armor comes out, they always release an AC support scratch. So if you are in a situation where you are unprepared, simply wait. Simply wait. It will come out and it'll happen. Why are they not talking about the story? Because there is no story announced. I'll talk about that. I think I talked about that in like one of my previous videos, but the story's been announced right now. So, but yeah, so we have AC Scratch that has Grand Dread Keeper 2S in it, and it has an augment transfer pass in it. So if you are low on your transfer passes, if you want to pick up your Grand Dread Keeper 2, you need to go ahead and pick one up for like maybe a weapon or something along those lines. This is actually a pretty good scratch to invest in if you're someone who spends money. And if you're someone who doesn't spend money, it's actually a really good thing because that brings the price of all of these things down. They bring down the actual cost of the meseta. So it is quite, it's pretty much on point with what you actually want to have to deal with. So this is good for everyone that's involved. I know people are like, oh God, they're trying to make more money again. No, this is by bringing these things back consistently, you end up putting people in a position where they're able to afford these things with the meseta cost, but also players who want to spend money will spend money at a relevant time. It helps the economy overall. Mission pass is still mission pass. We now have the leg units and the arm units to go with the cape that we got previously. We have Captain Mag form and the pug mask, and it's still just the usual mission pass. We'll review it when it comes out and see if there's anything new or interesting in it, but until they make changes to that, it's not really anything all that exciting. Moving on, we get to the disappointing part for me, at least me personally. Echoes of Hdyra 2. Unfortunately, they decided to choose the worst variant of Jasper to bring back. So yes, Jasper is in the scratch. However, they chose to bring back Law Jasper instead of any other variant or version of him, which that sucks. I'm gonna actually show you guys. Hang on a second. Let me pull it up. All right, so yeah, this is Jasper, the character themselves, right? This is base Jasper. Yep, there we go. This is base Jasper, right? Cool. Yeah, base Jasper looks dope, right, chat? We like base Jasper. Well, this is Chaos variant Jasper. So we have Chaos variant Jasper, which it basically it's his other outfit with like some armor added on and like this cape here or whatever, and these really cool swords. Like, yeah, this is Chaos variant Jasper. Also, very, very cool character. Super awesome. The character they decided to bring back was Law variant Jasper. The only Jasper that has no tattoos, fully covered. I mean, he's cool, but like, you guys know what I mean, right? Like, you understand what I was looking for. They brought the most unique version of that Jasper, but he was also the most L variant in my opinion. Very sad. So yeah, we got Law Jasper over Chaos Jasper. Base Jasper is Chaos, so the Chaos Jasper is just an upgraded form of base Jasper. Law Jasper is very, very different. This is from the Hdyra gacha, so all the characters have different variants. They have Law and Chaos variants, and They have one variant that'll follow their usual track of what the character is. So like, for example, Jasper is Chaos, so he follows the Chaos variant. Then he also has an alternative variant, which is his Law variant. And that's the one they decided to bring back for the scratch. I am on the wrong tab. And thanks, I hate it. Thanks, I hate it. But it is what it is. I mean, it still has a camo I'll probably pick up. His outfit probably still looks really good recolored. And there may be some other hidden gems in the mix, we'll have to see. But yeah, it's very, very sad. Limited quest, drill enhanced enemy suppression. This was actually a pretty big surprise, but not initially. So essentially it's a new LTQ they're adding in. It's a solo LTQ that apparently increases with ranks, up to 3 ranks versions of it. So it increases each time you complete it. They had a higher ranked variant of it. This was kind of like Sega's answer to people asking for more difficult content for solo players or just difficult content in general. And they also went a step further that I didn't expect they were going to. Now, this is mentioned primarily in the operation report, which I'll get to the operation report, like the questions, but I'm going to mention this specifically here just because this is where it pertains to. These quests are going to drop a specific type of badge, a weapon badge, and this badge is going to be exchangeable for current tier augments, things like Lux Hal Finale, and they specifically said Grand Gladius Soul. So remember a while back we made that video where we talked about how they could improve the game by releasing a currency that you would use to go towards current tier gear for you to upgrade, that way it wasn't directly tied specifically into Meseta. They did it with an LTQ. So it's now worth to quite literally run this LTQ to get your badges. It's probably going to be an awful grind. I'm guessing it's going to be a pretty rough grind for you. It likely isn't going to be insanely hard. It likely will be slightly easier because, to be perfectly honest, they're not going to make content that's going to require you have best in slot gear that gives you the best in slot gear. That's a little bit weird. So I imagine it's not going to be super, super hard, but it's going to be probably decently hard enough for you to go through. But you'll grind this out to then get that new gear. And they also mentioned that in later tier content, releasing other variations of those augments. Now that was released, or that was explained in one of the operation report questions. So maybe new LC augments, maybe something else. This is kind of, again, one of those moments where I try to explain to players that we feel like Sega never hears us, or they're never listening because we don't get answers or we don't get things exactly the way we want to in a short fashion. This is proof that they are. Granted, it may not be exactly perfect, but this is quite literally an exact answer to what we have asked for. It's an exact answer to what I have recommended and what players have asked for over and over again, which is an alternative that you're able to actually gear up and build yourself up without having to just shell out Meseta for it. You can do a piece of content that's actually going to be able to help out. Now, the reverse of this is going to likely absolutely crush the market for those augments. Now, granted, a lot of those augments weren't doing super well in the first place. Like Lux Hal Finale wasn't really killing it, to be perfectly honest. It was pretty low as it was. But something like Grand Gladius Soul was doing pretty well. Now, this could be a variant or a way that people could also make money by selling those augments. But now you're also going to kind of tank the market a bit. So you have to keep that in mind too. I know some people are like, yeah, screw it, I don't care. Tank the market, that's fine. But it's something that's worth, you know, conversing and talking about. And of course, there's going to be limited time titles, or limited time tasks and title tasks that go along with this as well. It's also going to work for the outfit campaign, so on and so forth. They also announced there's going to be another variant of this. I think it was in here as well. So there's gonna be like the regular variant, and there's also going to be an upgraded variant of this, like a harder version. The harder version is going to have, what do they call them? They were weapon badge Bs, I believe. That's going to have things like camos. What was it? It was like camos and something else, chat. I missed what it was. Oh, upgrade materials. So weapon upgrade materials and camos and things of that sort. So I'm not sure what they're going to be, what's going to be in there. We'll have to see what those shops look like and how much we actually get from them. But I am interested to see what the new complaint is going to be after they have quite literally, you know, provided us what we're asking for. Emote revival coming back. This is actually a pretty good one. So emote revivals are also very, very nice. Scratch cap bonus is going to have emote sit 7. It sucks there's an emote in the scratch cap bonus, but it is what it is. and Glangigus Mast AS. So if you are someone who does shell out some money, you can get an S variant augment. It is Glangigus Mast AS. Pretty freaking cool. Oh yeah, here we go. This is the other variant of it. They mentioned this. Completing the title requires, there's a title task that requires completing it with an S rank. So that's pretty dope. And this is supposed to be the harder variant of this. This will include Mars stuff and things of that in the nature. I don't think they mention it here. Yeah, they don't mention it here. Okay, so yeah, includes, you know, basically fighting all the different bosses and then fighting like a big boss at the very end with Mars battery and stuff. So that's pretty dope. They also announced the next AC scratch, which is the Joyful Holiday scratch. I know it's kind of weird hearing about this right now because we're at the end of October. Keep in mind, this is for the end of November, which December is the month right afterwards. So it does make sense. And likely we'll see more Christmas related stuff after that as well. So yeah, I mean, again, it does seem a little bit strange, but it does make sense with the timing. So, and then there was the operation report. Funny operation report question. They talked about this. We talked about it already, how they're adding in those badges for augments as well as some cosmetics and things of that sort. So that's pretty cool. And of course, upgrade materials. We're here for that. So here is a divisive one. A lot of you aren't going to like me for this. However, I warned you. I warned you guys this was likely going to happen. I told everyone, hey, there is only one thing that Mars is used for. Only one thing. That is a problem. Either they're going to design content around not being able to do it, or they're going to balance it. And they have opted to go with the balance option. I could hear you laughing from the room when they said it. Chat could hear you through my mic too. It's the truth. I warned you guys. You can't have an entire system where the only viable use case is one weapon with one spam. It doesn't make any sense. However, I want to go ahead and bring attention to this because everyone heard one thing and they immediately paid attention to that and they didn't hear any other part of it. What was specifically said was that they're tuning down the damage that Hydra deals by 25%. I'm sorry, they said specifically that it's going to do 75% of its damage. However, it's going to retain its damage on downs. Keep in mind, we don't know what that means. We don't know if that means 25% nerf, but 25% buff off the target is downed, which if that's the case, Hydra retains its true like use case. It retains what it's good at, which is spam Hydra termination when your target is downed, doing massive amounts of damage. However, the problem is if you could set yourself up to spam Hydra termination anywhere, it was the best thing to do no matter what was going on. And it wasn't worth doing anything else ever. Now, they're talking about balancing the other weapons out, which means buffing other weapons, which is a good thing. You can now use other weapons depending upon how they're buffed. Now, I'm a little afraid. Hydra shooting peanuts now. It's almost like you didn't hear anything I just said, Gambino. It's almost like you guys still heard nothing about what was just said. Can't help these people, chat. This is why chat is referred to as a hive mind, and they have peanuts for brains. Because they say things and they make no sense. None whatsoever. JK, no. Now you're being flamed. You can't just JK now all of a sudden. You can't just JK now all of a sudden. However, all of the weapons themselves. Excuse me, can't hear you, boss. Yeah, sure, okay. But yes, but essentially what's going to happen is they're rebalancing Mars. They're going to rebalance Mars. Hopefully it means that you're actually able to use other weapons whenever the target's actually up. Maybe Garm will actually have some use case now more often. Maybe Nidhogg will have some more use case more often. My only concern, true concern, is actually Skyla. Because Skyla's really strong already. Like really strong while it's actually up. Like you don't have to interact with your target at all. You just fly around them and then you throw some stuff at them and then you fly around some more. And then when you have all of your stuff built up, you're invulnerable for your beam. So that's my only concern, is that if they're rebalancing it, are they nerfing Skyla? Are they buffing everything else to be on par with Skyla? I don't know. We'll have to see. The first question was about Line Strike, if they're going to make it so you're able to get stuff through free battles. The short answer was yes. The longer answer was it's going to take some time to balance it out. It's going to be a later thing. My only concern with this is that win trading will be so insanely common, it's not even funny. But honestly, like, who cares? As long as it's free battles, like, realistically speaking, who really cares? It's just allowing people to be able to get their cards faster, and that's just gaming the system. Now, if it was for rank, that'd be different. Capsules with grand in their names, such as Gladiusol and Fusia type capsules, are hard to obtain, so I like more ways to acquire them. No, they're not. they're not really hard. The only one that's saying like arguably hard to obtain is Grand Gladiusol, to be honest. And the answer to that was that they're already doing it, and they're gonna be making variants that they're going to be making also variants in the future, so be prepared for that. We don't know if that means LCs. We don't know if that means that new augments. We'll have to find out. That's about directly upgrading equipment that's equipped to your character. The short answer was no. The long answer was that they're going to be taking the equipment that's equipped to your character and just showing it up there in grayed out to make it so you know you're not basically so you know not to upgrade the wrong equipment. Essentially, is the case. And that was it. At least for the operation report. They also confirmed that we're getting Super Genesis Festival back, which is awesome. Super Genesis Festival was a bunch of free stuff, including they're bringing back I think they said 5 a days this time around instead of 10 a days. So I'll see how that goes. It's a little bit of an L there, but we'll have to see. Melty Blood is coming back for a second time. They said there's gonna be newer outfits and different stuff that's come along with it. We'll have to see how that works out. They likely will bring back some of the old stuff too in the scratch itself. So just be prepared for that. It's likely going to flesh out the scratch by including some of the old stuff along with it. So I would just expect that. And to wrap things up, they just let us know the next headline will be on a Friday, and that is Friday. What is it? Oh yeah, Friday, November 29th. So next month headline, pretty cool stuff. Overall thoughts on the headline. So as I mentioned earlier, I wasn't expecting the headline to be all that great, to be honest. I thought it was going to be kind of very middling, not a whole lot with it, but I will straight up give this an 8 out of 10 headline. Like, legitimately. I wish they'd stop hitting Hydra. This is the only nerf Hydra's actually gotten. What are you talking? Okay, chat, here we go. Here comes the Hydra rant. I apologize for all of you that don't want the Hydra rant. I'm gonna hit you with the Hydra rant and be real with you. Hydra's current balance is absolute ass. I'm gonna rip the band-aid off. It's ass. It's 100% garbage. Straight up. I know you guys like Hydra and you like your spam, but it's terrible. You know why? Because it literally does nothing. It's the most boring thing of all time. You hold one button and you do nothing. And guess what? That one button held doing nothing is better than anything else in the game. But it's fun. It's fun to do. You like not using any other weapon. You like just using a laser. You like that if you touch Garm, it's completely useless. You like if you touch Nidhogg, it's completely useless. You guys like that? That's absolute ass. That's an agree to disagree situation. I think that's garbage. I think it's 100% garbage. And here's the crazy part, right, chat? It's still there. That is still there. It's quite literally still there. They quite literally said that it will retain its damage when your target is downed. So there you go. So you can still Hydra spam on downs. But objectively, having 4 weapons and having one of them be the only viable choice is bad design. That is bad design, 100%, and there's no questions asked. 25% nerf feels questionable though. Well, so what they said specifically is they're going to make it 74% of its damage. However, it will retain its damage on downs. Like 25% damage, retain its damage on downs, which reads to me like, okay, if the target's down, it'll do its regular damage. If the target's not downed, it will do 25% less damage, or it'll do 70% of its actual damage it normally does. That's all it reads as. Which, if that's the case, that means that Hydra will retain what it should be used there for, which is down. Hydra Pre-Fire is gone though, not if the target's downed. It also gives options for other things to do. If Hydra Pre-Fire is gone and that's what has to get hit for this to happen, then that's fine. I personally believe that that is fine, because the fact that only one weapon is being used out of all 4 weapon combinations that we have, to the point where it's a damage loss to use anything else, is terrible. Flat out, it's ass. It is. I'm sorry, but it's ass. Like, you don't get to do anything. Like, people want to use the other weapons, but you don't use anything else because nothing else is worth using. Objectively, that's just bad design. It needs to be balanced. Now, the pre-fire hit does kind of suck, don't get me wrong. However, hear me out. If it's still more damage to pre-fire that skill than anything else, then yeah, it does a little bit less damage, but it's still there. So is that a bad thing? They hit canceling, didn't they? So here's the crazy part, Azure, is your brain rot has settled in so far that you haven't realized that canceling was not Hydra specific. That was Skyla. That was Skyla's buff applying and being able to cancel out of it and being able to do more damage on other things outside of actually using Skyla's annihilation. And that was considered a bug because it wasn't supposed to work like that. It was supposed to be there. There's a big risk, so it won't hit. So there should be big damage. That would be the case, and I'd agree with you if that's how it worked. But the difference was it was just big damage. In a lot of cases, even losing it was worth the risk. The way it works right now is terrible, and it needed to change. That is just the reality of the situation. The fact that no other weapon is used is ass. And the fact that they see that means that it is drastic. Keep in mind, how long have we had bow in its current state? How long have we had, I don't know, force in its current state? How long did Hydra exist before they actually brought other weapons to buff? I'm just being real with you guys. It needed a change. Now, I do agree it sucks losing the pre-fire situation. I do agree that if you are putting high risk in, there should be high reward. Those two things are the case. Yes. However, that should not supersede every other weapon available. The risk or the reward should not be so high that it is not worth looking at anything else. It should be a reward for already playing Hydra. Hell, it's not even worth playing regular Hydra. How crazy is that? Like, you can't even use the regular gun because that's not even worth pressing over just spamming termination. How, like, that's insane to me. That is absolutely insane. So I do think they have to look. I'm not sure if 25% is the right amount. It probably is the usual knee-jerk. SEGA went a little too far with this one, that they need to kind of like figure that out and pull that back a little bit. Like that might need to do a little too hard. However, Hydra in its current gameplay was toxic, dude. Like it was toxic, bro. Hydra bullied everything else, and you could say, oh well, they should have buffed everything else. It's the same thing. Buffing everything and nerfing one thing, it's the same shit, dude. It is literally the same thing. I don't understand why people get upset about this. It's the exact same thing. If you nerf one thing and buff everything else, or actually, if you buff everything else, you effectively nerf the one thing you didn't buff. If you nerf one thing, you effectively buffed everything else. Like it's the same thing, man. So regardless of how you look at it, it was a toxic gameplay loop. It needed to be fixed. It needed to be changed. And I'm down for it. Just straight up, I'm down for it. I'm happy. I'm very happy. They're looking at Mars and they're looking at, hey, no one's using these other weapons. We should do something about that. Good. Change it. As it should be. Is 25% too much? I don't know. Let's get a hold of it and let's see how it works out. Maybe it's ideal. Maybe they want you to actually use Hydra, the rest of Hydra's kit more than termination. Who knows, man? Who knows? But yeah, other than that, apologies for the rant. It's gonna be in the video. I'm leaving it. You guys aren't gonna like me for it, but I'm leaving it. But this is an absolute W for people who want to play Mars more than just Hydra spam. You know what's crazy though, Airwith? I would be okay with Hydra spam if it worked like Skyla. If you were able to build something and then press Hydra that was buffed or whatever, and it did that much damage because of that, that's fine. My issue with Hydra spam is that it's just Hydra spam. Again, I'm concerned of Skyla. I don't know what they're going to do with that. I'm not sure if the buffs are going to be enough, but we'll have to see. Yeah, if it was like a Hydra built into Hydra, if you used its entire like actual gauge for termination, that would be something I'd be like, okay, that makes sense, right? Like that, and at least you're playing the actual weapon. But like you don't play the weapon. You just play Hydra termination. So we'll have to see. But yeah, what do you guys think? I'll let chat, you know, give their thoughts. You guys got to see me yell back and forth the chat like we usually do when it comes to this stuff, because we don't always agree. And I don't agree with my YouTube chat all the time either. I don't agree with my YouTube comments all the time either. People always are like, you know, whatever, this, that, and the other. So it's totally fine. Yell at me. Oh my God. Please chat. Either way, W change is on the horizon. Also, I mentioned this in my my headlines predictions video when I reviewed Karo's prediction, but I'm mentioning it here as well. I have a tinfoil hat theory about the storyline, chat. I know we haven't seen anything for it. I know a lot of people are like, oh, why is he not talking about the story? Where's our storyline? So on and so forth. This is like hyper tinfoil hat. So feel free to, I don't think there's any chance of this being the case, but we'll have to see, right? The tinfoil hat theory, there's something big happening in the story and they're purposely holding off their story because it's going to go along with that big change. I think that big change has to do with the story itself. And I think that's why we don't see anything until like December or even like March, honestly, right? We've already got changes we haven't seen as a part of that weren't in the, what's it called, the roadmap. So obviously there are things that be included that's not in the roadmap that happens all the time. But I think legitimately that's why we haven't seen story for so long. Like I said, tinfoil hat theory, totally fine to disagree. Maybe they have nothing. Who knows? We'll go from there. Either way, guys, thanks for watching all the way to the end. That's all I've got for you guys today. I'm going to cut this video. I know Cry is probably going to kill me for how long this video is already. But I will see you all in the next video. Take care, my friends. Peace out.